All right, welcome everyone. Today we're diving deep into a really fascinating topic, cryptocurrency adoption. We're going to move past all the noise and the headlines to really understand how this new digital money is actually working, or maybe not working, out in the real world.
Okay, let's just start with this. A really powerful idea from our source material. Many predict cryptocurrencies will have as big an impact as the internet. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That is a huge claim, right? It totally sets the stage for just how transformative this technology could be. So the real question is, how do we get from a niche tech idea to something that massive?
So to break this all down, we've set this up kind of like a lesson plan. First, we'll go back to the beginning with a new kind of money. Then we'll get into the great adoption boom. After that, it's time for a reality check with crypto's major hurdles. From there, we'll learn how to measure true network health, looking beyond the price. And finally, we'll see how a whole new crypto economy is being built.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, a new kind of money. See, to really get where crypto is today, you have to go all the way back to the start and understand the original problem it was trying to solve. So, what was that original vision? Well, it's right here. The whole idea was to create a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is just digital cash. It's a way for you to send money directly to someone else, anywhere on the planet, without a bank or a credit card company sitting in the middle taking a cut. The goal was to solve real-world financial problems.
Okay, so let's move on to our next section and see what happened next. This is the great adoption boom. Because that simple but powerful idea, it sparked more than a decade of just absolutely explosive growth.
Now, what's so wild about this is how you can see one of the biggest drivers of that adoption right here, the insane jump in value. I mean, look at this journey for Bitcoin. Back in 2010, one coin was worth less than a single penny. Fast forward to 2017, and it's on this meteoric rise, hitting a high that, well, put it on the map for good.
And there it is, almost $20,000 for a single Bitcoin. That number grabbed headlines all over the world. It literally forced cryptocurrency into the mainstream conversation and kicked off a huge wave of adoption as everyone scrambled to figure out what this thing was.
But, a price boom like that, it changes the story. And just like that, speculation became the #1 reason people were getting involved. So instead of using it like digital cash, most people were buying crypto hoping its value would just keep going up and up.
Okay, so we've seen the explosive growth, a lot of it fueled by speculation. But we need a balanced view here, so it's time for a reality check. Let's get into Section 3 and talk about crypto's major hurdles.
And this brings us to the big question, right? If the value went through the roof and all these people are jumping in, what's the catch? What are the actual fundamental problems that are holding it back from really taking over?
And this slide just lays it out so clearly, the hype versus the reality. On the one hand, you've got the promise, right? Incredible price gains, this idea of peer-to-peer cash. But on the other side, you've got the cold, hard facts. The price is incredibly volatile. There are big technical problems with scaling it from mass use. And you've got some serious environmental concerns.
So let's just quickly break these challenges down because they're absolutely crucial. First, price volatility. These wild swings make it really risky. Then there's the knowledge gap. Our source points out that, frankly, most people just don't get how it works. Third, scaling true decentralization is, well, it's really hard to do technically. Then you've got the high energy consumption of some networks. And finally, and this is a big one, it's a direct threat to government control over money, and that creates some very powerful enemies.
And to put all of this into perspective, just look at this chart. Even with all the hype, all the headlines, all the boom years, crypto adoption is still in its infancy. We're talking about maybe 1% of the world's population. It's just a tiny sliver. There's still a long, long way to go.
But, and this is a big but, price and even the user count, they aren't the whole story. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's move to Section 4, measuring true network health. Because to really understand what's happening, you have to look beyond that price tag.
So our source material points to these 4 pillars of foundational growth that show the network is getting stronger no matter what the price is doing day to day. Think of these like the network's vital signs. First, more nodes. Those are the independent computers all over the world keeping the network honest. More of them means more decentralization. Second, more computing power means the network is more secure. Third, a steady increase in new crypto wallets, well, that just means more new users are coming in. And fourth, more transactions show the network is actually being used, that it has real utility.
And this foundational growth, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's actually supporting something much bigger. So for our last section, let's zoom out and look at how a full crypto economy is being built around these networks.
And this gives us a great map of how crypto is starting to weave itself into our world. We're seeing more apps that are actually easy to use. More countries are creating regulations, which, believe it or not, adds legitimacy. We've got more merchants starting to accept it as payment, and some companies are even paying salaries in crypto, which is a huge step toward creating a real circular economy. So after all that, after looking at the wild growth, the serious hurdles, and the deep signs of network health, we are left with the ultimate question. Is this whole thing a massive speculative bubble, just driven by hype and doomed to pop? Or are we watching the early, chaotic stages of a genuine financial revolution? The truth is, the evidence points in both directions, and that's exactly what makes this space so fascinating to watch.